Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ifeoluwa. In this video I'll be showing you guys how to draft and cut this halter neck bustier top with princess darts, and it is beginners friendly. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share this video. Thank you very much guys. Now let's get into the tutorial. These are the list of the measurements that you are going to need for this top. So we have the under bust, the bust, the waist, armhole, across back, bust point, top length, the front waistline measurements and the back waistline measurements. You'll notice that they are not the same. That's because the front is not flat because of the bust, but the back is the back is flatter than the front. So when you measure, you see that they are different. So now we are going to input the measurements on our pattern paper. We are going to start with the chest line, and to get the chest line you are going to divide your armhole by 2. So from the shoulder length we are going to mark out the chest line, the bust point, the under bust and the waistline or the top length, wherever you want the top to be. So this one I'm just doing it in case I want to attach maybe like a pleats, or I want to make it a straight gown, or I want to attach a gathers, I want to attach a flay, something like that. But I'm just making this like a crop top for now. So here I've marked all my horizontal measurements. So I'm just using my marker to highlight them so that they'll be clear enough to see. So I have my chest line, my bust points, my under bust and my waistline, which is where I want the top to stop. If you want to extend your top, you can measure out where you want it to be and then you mark it like that. Okay, now I want to input my vertical measurements. So the first thing I'll be doing is to measure out the across back, that is shoulder to shoulder, and I have it as 14. You divide by 2, we have 7. So I'm just going to mark it out like that, and then I'm going to mark out my bust measurements on the chest line because I'll be connecting it to this across back for the armhole. So I have 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5. So I'm going to connect these lines together. So after that I'll be coming down by 1 inch. Then they will measure out the rest and then divide by 2. You mark that point and then you come in by 0.75 for the armhole. So these 3 points on these 3 points here that I'm showing, we are going to connect them together to get our armhole. So now that the armhole is done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to get our nipple to nipple measurements, and I always use this formula: 34 divided by 4 minus 1.5 inches divided by 2. So 34 divided by 4 is 8.5 minus 1.5 inch, we have 7 inches, divided by 2, we have 3.5 inches. So I've marked them on the chest line and then on the waistline. Then you connect the points together, so we have our nipple to nipple measurement. So we want to start measurements for the bustier. We are going to come in towards center front by 0.5, and then outside you come in by 1.5. You do that for the waistline and the under bust, and then we are going to connect those lines together. So towards the center front you are coming in by 0.5, and towards the side we are going out by 1.5. So now we are going to connect from the bust points to the under bust using our French curve. See the way I'm doing it? So you just connect it like that. Then you do the same thing for the other side. So you just connect them together as you can see. You connect the bust point to the under bust. So we have it like that. So now if we are going to be sewing, if we are drafting a normal bustier, which is without halter neck, you see the way I'm doing it, you can just easily connect from the midpoint of the armhole down to the bust point like this if we are drafting a normal bustier. But what we are doing is a halter neck top. So now we are moving to the neck measurements. I use 3 for my neck width. So you can use lesser if you don't want yours to be too wide. So I also came down by 3 inches for the neck depth. So I'm using my French curve to connect those 2 points together. So if you are cutting the normal the regular bustier, you can just connect those 2 points together to get the normal, to get the shoulder slants. But since we are doing halter neck top, we are going to be connecting from this neckline to the chest line. So you can either make it straight like this, you can either do this, or you use the curved parts. So you can, it depends on which one you like. So I'll be going with this curved one for this video. So I'm going with this. So I'm just using my marker to make it clear. So the next thing I want to do is to connect these 2 points together from the bust point to the middle of the armhole. So we are going to connect that with your French curve. So you just link those 2 together. So guys, make sure when you are connecting curve like this, the curve is not too sharp. It has to blend in. It has to be curved. So we don't need this point again. We are going to be using these new points. Now we are going to tighten that part. Take 1/2 inch on each side. So that part is just to tighten the clothes to avoid gaping. So you link that back to the bust point using your French curve. So I didn't realize my video stopped working, so I'm just showing you here how I linked those 2 parts together. So you will notice that this part will not be equal anymore, but we'll come back to that later. Now we want to measure out our waist measurements. So I'm going to be inputting my waist measurements now. Waist is 25 divided by 4. I have 6.25. So I'm just going to mark that there. Then you measure whatever you have there and input it on the waistline after the 6.5 that you measured. So I have 2 because you're still going to cut out that part away. It is unwanted. So on the chest line, we'll do the same thing. The bust divided by 4, we already have it here, but because of this part we're also going to cut out, I have 0.5. we are going to add it to that part, so it is going to be accurate. So you connect those 2 together like that. So we have our bust and waist measurements. So these parts are unwanted. We are going to cut them out. We don't need those parts anymore. So we are coming back to the front waistline and the back waistline. You see that there is a difference. I explained that the front is not flat. The bust is there, is seated there, while the back is flatter than the front. So the difference between the front and the back we have is 3. We are going to take that 3 inches from the bust point. Now you should know that this measurement varies for people. Some people might have the front as 15 and the back as 13, or the front as 16 and the back as 14. So just make sure you take accurate measurements. So you are going to see the reason for doing this later. You'll see that the front and the back side seam would align together. If you don't do it like that, it won't align together. So these things, we don't need this part that I've already done zigzag on. We don't need them anymore, so we are going to cut them out. So the next thing we want to do now is to sort out these parts. We know that they won't be equal anymore. They can't be equal, so we are just going to fold it like that. There are two ways to do this, but I'm just going to be showing this one, this way that I mostly use. So you just fold it together like that, and then you connect it back. You connect that part, you connect it back to the chest line. So I hope you guys are understanding this tutorial so far. So just connect it like that, and then you know that we have this as the new, this is the new line. This is what we are going to cut out. This is where we are going to cut out when you are cutting. That is all for the front part. So we're just going to cut out everything that we need now. So you just watch the way I'm cutting it. So for this part, we are going to stop a little bit before the bust point, just a little. We'll stop there. Then we'll come to this place too and cut it out. So because we don't need this part again, we're going to just cover it like this. See how easy it is to do. So you just cover it like this with your masking tape. So we're just using our masking tape to hold that part down. So this line, we're going to connect them back together. So because I don't want any sharp curve, any sharp edge there, so I'm just using my marker to curve it out, to curve out that part. So don't forget this part where I said you stop on our new line. So that is all for the drafting and the cutting of the front parts. So this is what we have. Now for the back, I'm going to take out my zip allowance first. So I'm using 1 inch. You can use 1.5, you can use 1.25. It depends on you. So I used 1 inch for mine. So that is my zip allowance. Then from the shoulder measurements, I'm also going to be taking my chest line, and then my back waistline. Don't forget, the back waistline is 14. So it is 14 we are going to be taking as the back waistline instead of 17 that we took as the front waistline. I hope you guys understand that part. You measure out the back and then you measure out the front, so they are not the same. Especially if you are working with a bustier, you are going to have different measurements. So I've connected my lines, and then I want to create my armhole the way I did for the front. So there's just a slight difference for this one. So I'll be taking my bust measurements now from this new line, not from the edge of the paper. Then we'll come down by 1 inch, and then we divide by 2. Then this one we are using 0.5. That is the difference. For the front we use 0.75. We came in by 0.75, but for here we are coming out by 0.5. We are coming in by 0.5. So I'm using my French curve to connect the points together. So this is my armhole. Now, because the back is not as straight as the plank, we are going to come in by 1 inch. Do you understand? The back is not straight. It has a little curve to it. So on the zip allowance, I'm coming in by 1 inch. Now this place that I came in by is now my new measurement. That's where I'll be measuring from. So I measured my waist measurement plus 1 inch for that. Don't forget that 1 inch for that. We are going to be putting that at the back. So I'm just going to connect my bust and the waist measurements together like that. So I'll be connecting this one too together. That is the new point for our zip allowance now. You guys understand? That's the new point. We are no longer using the straight line because our back is not straight like that. It has a little curve to it. So for the clothes to have fitting, it's better to just come in by 1 inch on the waist. Now for the darts, we are going to be measuring from the original line. For the darts, don't forget, from the original line, we're also going to be using the nipple to nipple, which is 3.5, and then we are taking ½ inch from each side. Then original line too, on the chest line you measure 3.5, and then you link together like that. So it connects together. That is our darts. So now I want to move to the neckline. The same thing we had at the front, which is 3 inches. Then down, I'm going to be taking, on the neck depth, I'm going to be taking 1 inch. So I'll connect that. Then we are going to create our halter neck or halter neckline. So you can either use the straight one that I said for the front, or you use the curve that you also used for the front. So it just depends on you. It depends on what you are going for. So we cut out. You see that the back doesn't have much stress or much details as the front. So now this is what I was saying. You see the side seams, you see how they align together, even though the front is longer than the back, but they align together because of that part that we took in, because of the difference that we took in. So you won't have any problem sewing. So that is all for the front and back. Then we want to go to the neck line, the turtleneck. So you are going to measure your round neck. So the round neck for this is 14. Your round neck varies, can be 14, can be 15, can be 16. So for this I'm using 14. Then for the length I'm using 3. So when I fold it, it's going to be 1 1/2, 1.5. So that is it for the neck. So in the next video I'll be showing you guys how to join them together. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye.